Coach, you guys, some new names in the return units from a year ago, some new players. I guess, what have you seen on some of those guys who it looks like are going to be taking some of the top snaps, like obviously Micah Pittman, Duquesne, and Sam McCall?
No, definitely excited that this offseason we were able to add some guys to the roster that we feel like could help us a lot in the return game. Starting with Micah, he's been very consistent throughout the course of spring ball and fall camp in terms of field and punts. He's tough, he's aggressive, he's confident. So I'm excited about seeing him back there. And then in the kick return unit, kind of the same thing in terms of new faces. We got Deuce, who's taking a lot of reps, Sam, Trey Benson. So we got a bunch of guys that are capable of helping us. And as you said, there's a lot of new faces. So I'm excited to see them have the opportunity to go out on Saturday and finally kind of put it to the test.
Jerry?
Coach, when you looked at film from last year, self-evaluation, were there things that you saw that you might be able to help your special teams with this year in terms of some of the schemes you're using?
Yeah, there was at the end of every season, especially when things don't go as planned in a lot of cases, there is a lot of critical self-evaluation, and from everything to how we teach the fundamentals and what we're doing schematically, and then after you go through that evaluation, you kind of take a step back and say, okay, what did we like about what we did, and what can we build upon, and what can we do better? And I think we as a staff devote as much time as anywhere I've ever been in terms of how we allocate time towards special teams. I think we have solved some things that we wanted to make sure that we addressed. Both in the return game and the coverage with our cover units. So I'm excited to see Saturday us have the opportunity to now put it on display, against a different opponent.
Chris?
With implementing full speed in scrimmages with return game, what kind of feedback did you get from the players about doing that? Because obviously it's something you might want to do, but what did they say after they did it?
No, I think they felt like it was helpful from the standpoint that there's a lot of valuable lessons that can be learned in a full speed rep that don't necessarily happen outside of a game setting. So some of those areas where you may need improvement, they get exposed through those full speed repetitions, and I think our guys understood that, embraced it, and I think we got better over the last couple of weeks getting more full speed special teams working the scrimmages for sure.
Brendan?
Before you got here, Coach Fuller was discussing the defensive line and just how much the depth has changed since you guys first arrived. I guess for you, what have you seen in terms of growth from the defensive end group from first year here to where you are now going in year 3?
Yeah, without hearing exactly what Coach Fuller said, it's something that it took some time to build the depth to the place of which it is now. The biggest thing is just not having significant drop-off when you're rotating players throughout the course of practice, and then as we'll see on Saturday throughout the course of a game. I feel very confident right now. We have 6 guys that are repping and rotating at the defensive end spot, and I feel very confident that we'll be able to execute at a high level regardless of who's in the game. Derek McClendon, Jared Verse, Dennis Briggs, Leonard Warner, Pat Payton, Byron Turner, all those guys are taking reps. They're all at a different place in their career. Pat, Byron are redshirt freshmen. Leonard's been here. Leonard and Dennis have been here since before we got here. Same with Derek. So, they're all at a different stage in terms of their development, but that depth that we aspired to early on and when we first got here as a staff is starting to take shape.
Aslan?
Odell's got a bunch of old dudes starting for him. Randy's got a bunch of old dudes starting for him. Back end, Adam and Mark's got a bunch of old dudes back there. You got a guy that has come from the FCS level. Vince is coming off an injury. Derek, limited sort of action. What have you kind of seen in practice that does make you feel confident about what they have? Is it not so much about how ready they'll be Saturday? Is it more about where they can be in October, November?
Well, I'll kind of take one guy at a time in terms of that. Like Jared Verse, yes, he is coming from a different level. It is going to be a change in terms of his week-to-week competition that he sees, but some of our best competition is what we see every day at practice, and he absolutely looks like he belongs in every way, shape, and form at this level. We obviously anticipated that when he came in, but he had a really good spring. He's had a really good fall camp, and I look forward to seeing what he can do this year for us. Dennis made the transition from playing more inside to playing more defensive end, but he also had a very good fall camp. So even though there's probably a few more unknowns at the defensive end spot, I feel really good about the way that's going to look, not just this week, but for the next, for the season going forward.
Ira?
When you're putting together coverage units, I'm sure you're looking for the best athletes or whatever criteria you have. Do guys sometimes come to you and want to be elevated or compete at those positions beyond just the freshmen who are just trying to get on the field?
Yeah, there's a lot of times that guys come and they express their desires to want to be on different special teams phases, because a lot of guys, especially those backup transitional guys, they know it's their opportunity to travel or to get on the bus, so to speak, is making sure that they have a role on special teams. So that happens pretty frequently in terms of guys coming to ask what they can do or what kind of role that they can play. In terms of the cover units, everything that we do, and you guys are at obviously a lot of the practices, we do a lot of competitive drill work, and through that competition and through that competitive work, we're able to get a pretty solid evaluation of who we feel like gives us the best opportunity to be successful on those units, and we kind of make those decisions based off that, and then obviously what's going on in practice, both on the offensive side and defensive side. Like, to me, it all matters. If I feel like a guy is really showing up offensively or really showing up well defensively, it makes me think, well, maybe I need to create a spot or a role for them on special teams. And it all kind of works together, from the standpoint of everybody has an opportunity every day to showcase what they are able to do to help us, and I try to take all of that into account as we make these decisions.
Ira?
When Ryan talked last week about changing his approach a little bit, going more of a two-step approach. When I know the kickers kind of sometimes have their own people to help them and their own ideas. Does he come to you about that, or do you just see it like once after he's implemented? Like, what do you think that's for?
Well, kicking's a little unique in that regard, because a lot of these guys have personal trainers and coaches that they've worked with their whole careers, and they'll get some off-season work with them. In terms of that, Ryan will communicate and share some of the things that he's working on, and then it's our job to give the best feedback we can. I try not to clutter him, or any of our kickers for that matter, with too much information, because like any of us who've played golf, if you have too many swing thoughts, then all of a sudden you can't perform. So I trust him in terms of what he's trying to get accomplished, and then if there's something that I see or one of the coaches on our staff sees that needs to be tweaked or adjusted, we'll address that from there. But he's hit the ball well. I think his contact has been really good throughout the course of this fall camp. So there's really no need for me to tweak anything with him right now, except for the occasional mishit. We may talk about why it happened.
Aslan?
I know you're married and you have a family that make you very happy, but professionally, would there be anything that'll make you more excited than to see one of these kick units, whether it's punt or kick, really bust something off?
Yeah, no, that's a long time overdue. I was actually kind of thinking about that last night driving home. Just you kind of get caught and you kind of drift off in your train of thought. Almost ran a red light, just because we're so close. And I know, to a casual observer, just off the television copy of watching a game, it's hard to tell that at times, because to have a kick return for a touchdown, there's a reason why they're infrequent. A lot of things have to happen. You got to get the right kick. You got to get everyone blocked. Everyone's got to execute their assignment. Then you got to have a guy with some instincts that's running with the ball that can make it happen. And we've been so close on so many different occasions where when you pause the tape, you see a seam there, you think you're going to hit it, and then for whatever reason, it doesn't happen that way. So yeah, I'd be thrilled to death if, you know, when that opportunity presents itself. And our guys have worked really hard at it, and they do take a lot of pride in what we're doing on special teams. So I'm hoping that they start seeing some rewards for all the hard work that they're putting into it, for sure.
Anything else? We're good? Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.